Hello and welcome to Will Do Words. We are your hosts, Carly
and Zoe.
So, Zoe, how has your week been?
It's been really good. I had a lovely day with the kids yesterday. We were making kites.
Very fun.
They're very excited about getting to fly their kites next week.
Yes.
And very busy. Lots going on,
Yeah.
as you know.
Yes.
As we'll unpack, I'm sure.
Yes.
How
absolutely.
about you? How has your week been? What's the highlight?
It's been good. My highlight of this week has been seeing 2 golden retrievers in a span of 30 seconds this morning. And as soon as I saw them, I knew it was going to be a very good day.
That is setting up for success.
Yes.
You cannot deny that.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's just jump into it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so today's episode, we wanted to talk a little bit about this new feeling that we've been having and put a little bit of a definition to it. But first, right, our purpose of this podcast is...
Some of you have been asking, right?
Yes.
I figured we may as well explain it.
Why do you call it Will Do Words? Which we'll get into a little bit after. But the purpose of our podcast is to think about what you have always wanted to do but have never done or have felt a little bit nervous to do. And we want to be those cheerleaders behind you saying, you know what? Yes, you can.
Got this.
Yes, you can do it. And if you know you can do it, you will do it. Right? So we'll do words.
Yeah.
So this feeling that we've had of needing to get out of the cycle of doing things.
Break the mold.
Right. We have found this definition in our own mind that we want to explain a little bit, which is Adultpilot.
Or Adultpilot.
Yes.
We're still working on how to say it.
We keep going back and forth. So for my American accent friends, we have Adultpilot, and for our New Zealand friends,
Adultpilot.
yes.
Same, but tomato.
Yes, tomato, literally. So what is this? We've kind of been chatting about this a little bit and this feeling that we have. So Adultpilot is getting stuck in the cycle of this game of life, right? So being an adult, or just life in general, you go to school, you grow up with your parents, and then if you're lucky enough, you move out or you go to university, right? And
you step into the door of adulthood.
Right, so then...
it's all waiting for you.
Yes, at 18 years old, you're like, I'm an adult. And...
oh, so I have to pay for that now.
Yeah, now what, right? So you get into paying bills and entering loans for university and just kind of figuring out the life in general, right? So being an adult. So this cycle that we all get into, this game of life, is our steps, right? So we go to university, right? Okay, great. Or we go into a job field, a training program, a vocational of some sort. And then, great, we get a job. We've graduated or finished our training program, or you just go straight into getting a job. Different life paths.
Like that.
Exactly. Now, you
fast
have
forward 3 years, you were 18, you're now however old, you have a job.
Yeah, great. Or you start when you're 18. So now you have to pay taxes, right? And then the next step, like, okay, so we're working, great, and now I guess it's time to get married. Yeah, you find someone, great, awesome. Okay, next step on our game of life, right? We get married.
Or whatever that is for you.
Exactly, you find a partner in...
everyone has their own variation of the thing.
Exactly, so finding a partner. Okay, that's the next step. Okay, now that I found a partner, children maybe is the next step on life, right? For some.
Or house.
Or house, right? So let's buy a house, or, get married, house, children, raise your children, or continue on working and furthering your career. And then we work for 40, 50, 60, all the years.
However many.
Right, until we've achieved these goals in this adult cycle, right? Where you get a bonus, you get a change of your career, right? But we're still on this game of life path. And then we die, right? It's just the cycle of life,
wow.
right? We're born, we grow grow up and we die, right? The only two certainties is being born, and once you know you're born, you know you will die. So what did we have this in between? So this is our adult pilot, right? We get on this path and we kind of just go on our hamster wheel, and we don't really think about a different option.
Yeah, and like obviously we're starting to see it a bit more, right? Carly, you sent me something the other day, and I've seen it pop up heaps on my socials feed, is the whole, you know what, I've lived my 20s and I've always wanted to move abroad, I've always wanted to try this new thing, I've always wanted to start this new business, I have this new idea. And they go, well, you know what, I'm actually just going to try it because I've been on that hamster wheel, I've been stuck on this. And the one you sent me was this girl was working a job it was just a job, it wasn't anything special, and in her 30s she upped and moved, and she took a partner along with it, and living her best life in a new city, meeting new friends, doing things that she once did when she was a kid, and that's kind of like the quintessential story, right? I mean, in movies they talk about the midlife crisis, you know, eat, pray, love, you know, we go and we go get touchy-feely, we learn about ourselves, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, now it's the quarter life crisis.
Right.
And I guess this whole Adultpilot, I think I just said the same way twice. It's basically just that realization that you're on this, I guess, glass half full, glass half empty. You're on this trajectory to somewhere, or you're on this trajectory to stop and going, oh wait, I'm not happy with this. This is my quarter life crisis. This is my midlife crisis. And it's not, I don't think it's a crisis personally. I think it's a really cool opportunity for growth and reinventing yourself.
And it doesn't necessarily need to come out of a crisis, like a breakup or a devastating life event or anything. It can just be simply that you desire to learn and grow and change, right?
You wake up one day and you go, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
So for me, it was obviously moving to Spain. And and as I talked about before in a previous one, that was something that I had planned, and we have quite different ways of getting here.
Right.
But I had a really good job at home, I had opportunities coming up, I could have very easily stayed in my adult pilot lane and just kept on trucking through.
So what was your adult pilot?
Intense work environment. I was a teacher, and you know, we all know the story of you work during your holidays, you work all hours of the night. And it was just, and I still come back to it some days now. I'm like, oh, well, hang on a minute, Zoe. If I hadn't moved to Spain, I could be looking down a team leader path now. I could be looking down a senior leadership in some way, shape or form. And just getting stuck in that, you can see the next hurdle and it's gonna be a mare to get there and it's gonna cost you. And for me, it was all waking hours of the day I was thinking about work. But I could see that next step, I could see that next, as you said, that next pay rise, that next opportunity. But it was just, I kind of had to stop and check myself and go, well, hang on. Yeah, okay, I can progress, but what is it going to cost me? And am I happy to have that cost?
Yeah.
You know, like that weigh up of the good and the bad. And for me, no. I also had signed a contract in Spain, so it's kind of like it was going to happen one way or another.
Which, following that mold too of like being on this adult pilot isn't necessarily a bad thing for some people.
No,
like,
absolutely not. I mean, look at Steve Jobs, look at all of those really big players in the business world who built their business from the ground up.
Yeah.
They've been stuck on that adult pilot and it's worked out well for them. And that's such a valid point, Carly, is some people are built that way.
Yeah.
And some people thrive in that environment.
Yeah. And it's good to have goals, but if it's not exactly the path that you feel called to, or you want to change it up a little and kind of try different avenues, it's also awesome.
Yeah. So what about you? How did your adult pilot manifest?
Yes. So I think very much like step 1, 2, 3, 4, went to high school. I graduated. I went to university. I graduated university. I tried a little bit after university to break the mold of joining the Peace Corps, but that didn't really work out with COVID. So then joining the workforce, and then getting into a few years of working and being like, oh, yeah, I want to try something different, a new language, a new place, a new country. So let me divert a little bit from this hamster wheel that I could easily get stuck in for the next 40, 50 years, which is great for some people, of working and accelerating in your career. If you find that career is purposeful and you find inspiring, then that's awesome. But for me, that's not the Adultpilot hamster wheel I wanted to get on. So then moving to Spain and trying new careers and meeting new people and new cultures and communities.
And it's like, just going back on what you said, it's not a bad thing.
No.
And I mean, you grew up, you had the people around you, it's all you knew, right? And you just work until you stop working.
Right. And I didn't realize there was any other option.
No, and neither did I.
Yeah.
And you know, my parents are very open to ideas, but they weren't so open to sending a 16-year-old me to South America on my own.
Yeah.
And so I did. And we've had similar talks about you doing the life. So I did get stuck in the university. Well, not stuck, sorry. I have a lot of great friends, I did a lot of learning, and it was a great period of my life. But I was on that trajectory to go a certain way.
Yes.
And yeah, if you don't know, you know, we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
So you have to think out of the box to sort of break out of this Adultpilot. And it's scary.
Yeah.
And it's hard. But, you know, as I said before, I'm seeing it so much now. People get to this like mid-20s age and you're like, hang on, is this what I want for my future?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you've got to stop and ask yourself when you find yourself in that Adultpilot is this what you want? Because really we want, I think it's safe to say most people out here, they just want a fulfilling life, right?
Yeah. Finding your purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And I know for me, coming from New Zealand, they have this great model, Te Whare Tape Whā, and it talks about like the 4 different pillars of your life. And making sure every pillar of your life is strong and supporting, not just 1 or 2. And what happened for me when I was working was, sorry, I'm still working, I promise.
Yes.
When I was in my other job, is some of those pillars were falling down.
Yeah.
And I couldn't maintain the Te Whare Tape Whā model because parts of me were falling down and I was getting sick, I was burnt out, I was run down, and you know, you've got to make sure that all parts of whatever it is that's important to you is fulfilling, whether that's spirituality, whether that's your physical well-being, whether that's your financial, but all of that sort of stuff you have to take into account.
So now we've kind of realized that we were in this Adultpilot, right? So we had our big girl jobs, following our game board of life. How'd you get out of your Adultpilot, and which kind of leads into a little bit why we're here, what we're doing, or...
I think the first thing for me was I learned pretty early out of uni, well actually no, during uni, because obviously, you know, uni is a stressful time. You've got your exams or your coursework, whatever it is that you're doing. And I learned pretty early on there that moving my body was super important.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Exercise. I mean, I was the kid who danced, I don't know how many days a week, played sports on the weekend, you know the type.
Yeah.
So for me, getting back into exercising was a really important part. And then in my final year, I started dancing again for the first time.
Cool.
That was just incredible.
Yeah.
And kind of holding on to that through, as you said, getting my big girl job and working full time. Just trying to prioritize that as and when I can. I could. And then I moved to Spain, everyone.
And here we are.
My working hours went down by more than half.
Yes.
Easily.
Well, this is also a very special program that we have the ability to do.
Yes.
Because I equally agree that the working hours dramatically decrease.
And obviously not everyone can do that.
Correct. Yes.
But I guess for me it was just actually taking time back for myself and getting to choose what I want to do with it rather than, oh no, I have to mark that or I have to plan that lesson. And when I started looking at my time and going, oh, what am I going to do? You know, I don't know what else I like other than the stuff that I liked when I was a kid. Because again, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So I started to sort of gravitate back to doing those things that I really enjoyed as a kid. Reading, my gosh. The amount of books I read, ridiculous.
Yes.
As I said, moving my body. My partner and I, we have a dance party every night.
Nice.
Because why not? We're adults, we're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, baking. Baking has been a huge part. And then I met this really cool girl who invited me to a dance group.
Yes.
And getting back into that has really helped.
Yeah.
And honestly, my life is so full now.
Yeah.
And not to say that it wasn't before, but I just have so many different things going on.
Yeah.
Not just tunnel vision, one thing.
Yeah.
What about you? How did you sort of
Yeah.
reintroduce that or back to your life?
Yeah, so I feel like when moving to Spain, it was kind of just overwhelming and chaotic of learning all these new things and new languages. But having that time to myself a lot more than I had while being on this Adultpilot plane, taking a step off, being like, oh, okay, so now that I have time to fill, what do I like to do?
And that's so hard, right?
It's very difficult.
What do I do?
Yes, what do I do with myself now? So again, like you said also, I got back into reading and realized how much I do enjoy it, which I didn't as a child, and now I do a lot more. So that's been fun, but the biggest thing for me has been, like you mentioned, dance classes.
Yeah.
For me, dance was a huge part of growing up and my childhood. And after an injury, I had to stop dancing for a really long time. And then getting here and having that time, it was like, oh, okay, like in a part of trying new things in this community, it was like, oh, okay, I'll go to dance classes. And then I was fortunate enough to find a bachata class that I did with my friends that I had here the first year, and that kind of opened the door to meeting new people in the community. And then I was chatting with one girl that I met at a party through another friend, and she was like, I am in this dance group. You should join because you like dance. And I was like, absolutely, okay. I've never
Why not?
Yeah, and it was a belly dancing class, and I was like, I've never done that. Sure, let's try it. I like to dance, and it sounds fun. And that kind of led to all the things that I loved about dancing growing up, right? Being with these girls who are so wonderful, building community, getting dressed up, having a performance, doing your makeup together.
Girl time.
Yeah, but just something that was so fulfilling to me as a child, not realizing how much I enjoyed it and loved it, then kind of manifesting it over of like, oh, okay, like this is something I want to prioritize in my life because it fills me with joy, right? It brings me back to that inner child, that the things that I like in life that I can continue to do while being an adult, and prioritizing those things that make me happy, right? Reading, dancing, taking photos, or just going for a walk, right? Moving your body in some way.
Yeah, like scientifically so important.
Yes.
So like
Yes.
Although I'm not a scientist, but all the hormones that get released when you move your body,
Right.
it's just so important. But to our listeners at home, obviously, we did go with the
extreme
approach.
Yeah.
We moved. I mean, like, I moved to the complete other side of the world. Carly, you upped your life and you moved, and you've since done it for the past, this next 2 years. But so, how can you reintroduce this awe and this wonder from your childhood and fill your days with joy without jumping on a plane, leaving everything you know, love, and moving to the other side of the world? Because that's not feasible for everyone.
No. And there are people who are still on this Adultpilot that now are hopefully going to be like, oh, okay, I'm on this thing. Like, what are the new things that I can try to break this cycle a little bit? Without going into the extreme, right? Of like, I need to up and pack my whole life and move to a foreign country, which, again, awesome.
We don't advise against it.
No,
don't get us
highly
wrong.
recommend.
100% recommend. But not everyone has the means to do that, or the ability, or there's lots of different reasons for it. But I think you just tapped into it.
Yeah.
New things.
I think finding something new every day. So I am not one for New Year's resolutions, but this year I have started, well, a few years ago, I started doing New Year's goals. So at the beginning of the year, I think to myself, what do I want to do this year or achieve? So my biggest thing this year was once a week, or at least throughout the weeks, one new thing or one new experience. So it's something as simple as going to a new restaurant or taking this new street to work. As simple as that. And also have been as extreme as traveling to new countries and whatnot. But having that note in my phone of like week 1, week 17, week 18, wherever we're at right now, and writing down a little note of what was one thing new I did this week.
So do you keep a note for it?
I do. I have them all.
Oh,
and
that's how cool.
Yeah.
How you can treasure that going forward.
Right, exactly. So it's kind of like making you aware of, okay, like I want to find something new, but also appreciating the small little things and realizing even if you are in a cycle and your work day is get up, go to work, come home, exercise, go home, like there's always something new to learn or to do within a day of regular routine.
So true. And you know, if you're stuck in the adult part, you actually you don't have the bandwidth to think about it. So
exactly.
that's such a good point.
Yeah.
So my next question, if you don't mind sharing,
yes.
What's your new thing from today?
Oh,
mind you, we're only halfway through the day.
Yes.
So if you don't have today, you can do yesterday's instead.
What happened yesterday? That's a great question. Let me get back to you because I've been doing this in weeks. So my new thing from last week is easier because I've written it down.
That's fine.
Is that I was at school and there was 3 French teachers who were doing an Erasmus program. So meeting 3 new French people and having conversations with different people and then visiting a new area of town. And exploring something in there was the new thing from last week.
How
so
cool.
This week is still continuing. I haven't been able to write down my new thoughts.
Check back in, guys.
Yes.
We'll hear about it.
My new experience of the week. So that was last week's.
So it's not even a hard thing. You did that at your job.
Correct. Right.
Something that you would have been doing anyway.
Exactly.
But just actually being able to stop and go, oh wait, this is new, and celebrate that little win.
Exactly.
So easy.
So
easy.
Did you have a new experience last week?
Oh,
I'm putting you on the spot a little bit.
I'm trying to remember last week. I met an important person in one of my friends' life for the first time.
Very cool.
So that was cool, and I think I tried a new food.
Yes.
I could be lying about last week, but I tried a new recipe this week, and it was really, really
fantastic.
yummy. So you know what? Thanks for making me think about that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be able to tell you otherwise. They just kind of drift away.
Yeah, it also makes you aware of like it's kind of like a diary, but not just note keeping and kind of remembering what you've done. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that was cool.
It's living where your feet are, right?
Exactly.
Like, my dad is a very wise man, and that's the one thing he keeps telling, because I very much get swept up in the moment.
Yes.
And go, I have all this stuff to do, which is probably like a hark back to when I was busy, because that's what I was used to doing, and that's what I crave now. And just live where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get swept up, because it's so easy, right, to get swept up on that trajectory and jump back into Adultpilot and blinders on, this is what you've got to do.
Yeah.
But just opening your vision and going, okay, I'm right here. What's here for me?
Yeah. The sky is above me.
Yeah.
The earth is below me. How am I going to make this a good day, a new day, and continue on?
How many golden retrievers am I going to see today?
I mean, one a day is a miracle and a joy.
And you just have to note it.
Yeah. And another big thing for those who aren't going to make a big change like us, just travel, even if it's to the next town over, right?
Forget where you. It's always been. Oh, I really want to go there. I really want to go there.
Yeah.
I have a list on my phone of adventures.
Yeah.
And they're put in categories. They're like same island as me, different island to me, different country to me. And every now and again, I'll just open it and see what one I can tick off that, like, if I have a weekend free.
Yeah.
So as we said before, we can 100% vouch for traveling. It's the best thing you can do.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be big.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
It can be to the next street over, right? You can be your travel adventure.
Yeah, go find a new park. Go find my favourite. Go find a new cafe.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, always.
Speaking of, we need to go get those cookies.
It's time.
It's cookie time.
It's
so,
cookie time.
on that note, if you think it, you can do it. And you know that, just grasp that and hold that with you today, because that's what we've been talking about. And we can't wait to hear what your adult pilot, like breaking the routine, moves are going to be. So what will you do this week?
Yeah, what will you do? What will be your new experience? And if you're in that adult pilot, what are you going to do to kind of ruffle some feathers a little bit, right?
Shake it up a little.
Yeah.
So these are our will do words today. As always, if something we said piqued your interest and you want to hear a little bit more, please get in touch with us. Instagram's the best. Or, you know, just share with us what you're doing to break your adult pilot this week.
Yeah. Let's break the cycle. Yeah. So don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, and so you don't miss any other episodes.
It's always pretty cool.
Yeah, and Spotify as well, and give us a follow on Instagram. So until next time, this is Will Do Words.
See ya.